Hello, best friends, and welcome to this crash course on using Flowbite Design System. So, Flowbite Design System is a very amazing design system that's built on top of the Tailwind CSS utility classes. What I mean by that is you could basically just pick the Flowbite Design System and sync directly with what the Tailwind CSS library. So Tailwind CSS library is a very versatile CSS library that is being used by tons of websites, brands, and so on and so forth. So, as designers, also we have to understand that design systems help us to ship faster, which means that developers should be able to pick our designs immediately and ship directly to code. So, without overly thinking of okay, how can they create or implement this structure? What does the button entails? What's the class of the button? Or what's the token that was used for that button, right? So that's basically what Flowbyte provides us with. So why I'm reviewing this is because Flowbyte has both a free version and a paid version as their pro version. So you can explore, read through this and basically see what that entails. But in today's session, we'll be doing something more interesting because we are going to be recreating this dashboard using the Flowbite design system. So this dashboard is was designed by FinArt UI UX or FinArt Studio. So you can check them out. They have amazing shots on Dribble. So I just picked this and I will be recreating this right using the um, Flowbite design system. So if you want to copy this quickly, you just click on it, right? Um, yeah, you click on it, then you right click and you can copy the image here. Then you can go back to Figma, which is this, and you can paste it here. So let me delete this one that I pasted. I'm gonna paste it again. Okay, so I've pasted it right. So this is what we would be recreating here. Now, before we do anything here, we have to get our Flowbite design system from the Figma community, and we also have to publish that design system. So let's quickly do that. So what we need to do here is we'll go to home, then we'll go to community, then we'll search for the Flowbite design system, Flowbite design system, right? So you can see this is they have a lot of files. You can see this is the pro plan. You can only view this, you can't use it, but you can see this right now that says Flow by Design System by Tim Berg. You can duplicate this, right, and use it. Now, a quick disclaimer: this only works for those that are making use of the Figma educational plan or you are on the Figma Pro plan and other Figma plans, right? But for the free plan, you can't publish a design system. So, which means you basically need to be copying and pasting those components. So instead of you just directly publishing it. So this is what you do. You open in Figma, select the themes that you want to use this in. So you select that and you move from there. So I think I've done this already, but just for your own sake. So I'll click on this. So it's going to duplicate that file into your own themes so you have access to it. So I've done that in my own case. Now let's go to mine, which is this. Now looking at the flow by design system, when you duplicate that, I think we'll wait for this and check this later. For the first page here, you get to see the cover page that's flow by design system. Then where the whole magic happens right now is all the components and style guides that are prepared for you. And the best part is it is well set up and it also has variables. So let's quickly explore this. Now you can see the introduction. You could read this up, basically just explain what this file contains, the Figma variables, you can see it there, the icons, and basically other resources that you can click and view. If you want to also go to their support, you can contact them. You can see the license is free, basically, but if you purchase the developer edition or designer edition from um, Flowbite, you can also get a license. So which means that well, the free version is for everyone, but the paid version is for you have to buy that one, so you have to have that license to use that one. So you can use the pro version without buying that. So that's on the side note. Now you can go to getting started. Now for getting started, they explained how you can use this, and you can see here they are explaining how you can what publish Flowbite as a library. So you publish it on Figma. We'll be doing this shortly. It's very very simple and it's less complicated. Um, then you can also see how to change tokens. That's if you want to change whatever variable that maybe you want to update a variable, you don't like the numbers or the string value that was used, you can quickly update that if you want to. Now to access the variables, you go to your right panel here under the design tab, then you click on this button here, right? And you can see we have the variables here. Now the variables have two categories. The first one is the primitives, and your primitives contain all your base styles, right? So basically everything that you need to work with. So from the spacing system, you can see they have a spacing system. They are using a 4 point grid system. So you can see it ranges from zero, you can see zero here, 1 pixels, 0.5, 1 times 4, that's what 4, right? 1.5 times 4, that's 6, and so on and so forth. So basically, if you are looking for any value for your spacing system, you get to just look for the value that it is being multiplied to, right? Multiplied with to get that value. So that's for this. Now you can also scroll down and see they have like the color system here. That's under colors category. For the color group, you can see we have brown colors, you have uh, slate colors, right? So a different shade of gray. They also have their main grays, which is this. So it's basically very similar to the Tailwind design system here. So you can see Tailwind design system also uses similar approach, right? So you can see 50 down to 950. You can see red, orange for the colors, and you can read this if you want to, but it's basically a library for devs. So let's go back to ours. So you can scroll down. You have a lot of colors that you can use as your primitive color. You can also switch between different shades of grays. So this is neutral category for the grays. You can also see that we have the stone. You can keep on scrolling. You can now see you have your red, and you have a lot of colors here. So indigo, orange, yellow, green. Basically, almost all the colors that you'll be needing throughout your design file. So you can also see they also have like max width sets. This is when you're trying to like set a max width for a particular container and so on and so forth. You can update these values if you want to. You can also select the container, that's the container width, right? Or the height if you want to. You can update this later. Then what else again? We have the border. So for your border, that's your stroke, right? So the stroke values, you can also update the stroke width, and basically every primitive that you need. So every base tokens that you need are here. Now the best part is for their teams also, they've created a light and a dark mode for you. So without you thinking of okay, what will your dark mode look like? They've created that for you, and they basically split it in a very good category. You can see for borders, they have the borders from border dark, border buffer medium, and basically based off the hierarchy, you can see how the shades keeps increasing, or the shades keeps becoming darker from light white to what to dark. And you have to understand their naming convention for every design system that you want to use. That's basically what you need to do. What else do we have here? We have the background too, so make use of the background here. You can see background primary, background white, and you can see the dark mode variant too also what is available. And you can see background gradient, you can see this, basically everything that you need is here for your BG warning. That's for your state colors also available, and for your text also. So you can see you have text white, then you have text heading, which is like your text primary. You have text body sub to. You can see the text BG brand sub to. So maybe a text brand. You can see. So these are like the major colors that you're using when you are designing any system, any experience. You need these colors. So you can see for your danger, you can update them if you want to. Let's say you want to update this subtool to whatever other primitive value. So you can click and select it and update here. Or if you want to change this, maybe the shade you don't like it, you can go back to the primitive and go and update it. It's going to be updated here. So these are like the basic styles that you need here. So you can explore this data. Let's get into what we want to do. So back to this. So they also explain their colors, their layout grid, their typography spacing, and um, the avatar components here. You can see they have a very robust avatar component. They also have icons that you can use. I don't use this one. I basically use a full icon pack like huge icon or blue sacks icon or material icon or whatever other icons that I would love to use. So I don't use their own icon at all. So we also have patterns. I think this is something that is interesting. They have a lot of patterns that you can just quickly reuse. So all these are free to use because this is like the free version. They also have illustrations. So free illustrations that you can pick and update if you want to, and you can also refine if you want to. I think all these are free to use. They also have logos that you can use as placeholders. Probably you are designing a logo bar section and you need some logos, you can just use this as placeholders. What else? They have their shadows and borders. So you can see for the border radius, all the values, and also they explained the token name. And also for the border width, you can see they have that set. And all of this right now is making use of what? Of variables. So if you, let's say we select this, you can see, right? The value right now is a variable. So look at this right now. It's a variable. So they're using XL for this. This is LG, this is MD, and this is the base, that's the border, and they have border 0. So for the border style also, so you can see for border style, I think if you click this here, you can see you can switch between solid and um, dashed, right? So they have that, but I think this is not a variable, so you can explore that later. All right, so let's go to the next page here. Then we have alerts, that's under components category. Now for your components, you have basically all the components that you need. I think for the free version, they don't have all the components that you might most likely need, but they have all the base component that you can use to build. So you can see they have alerts, different variants for the alerts. And the best part is if we select a particular component, they have all the what the component property sets already. So if I want to update this to, let's say this is a boy, and select text here and type this is a boy from the component property section, you can see it updates here. I can also hide um the icon on the right hand side. I can show icon. Okay, this for the text. I can also hide what the icon on the left hand side. I can hide the right icon. I can show the text. So they have all the properties set already. So you don't need to do all that work. And that's the best usage of a design system, in my own opinion, whereby they've set all the necessary properties for you. So it's easy for you to quickly update and use. They have a lot of components here, so you can explore. We'll be picking from all these components where we want to. They have a very good button component too. So if I select buttons, um, you can see different variants of the button. This might be different from what you're familiar with. So my advice is you accustom yourself with this, try to go over it and understand how it works. So that's that about the component section. There are different components here, so you can explore later. We'll be using it to build um, this dashboard here that we have. So the first thing you would want to do so that you can access it from this dashboard here is you have to publish this design system. So you go to your assets panel here, then you click on the library button here, then you can see manage library, then you hit publish. So I have published this already, so there's no time for me to do that anymore, but you can hit publish here. We can go to this new one that I just duplicated here, which is this, right? Then you can go to alerts, that's assets, sorry. Go to the library button here, then you can hit publish. So it's gonna show a modal, right? So it's loading because this, I think there's a lot of stuff going on here. So let's give it a minute to. Okay, so it's asking me that I should move this project to publish the asset. So I have to move it to a particular team. I think I duplicated it to drafts already, so that's the problem. So you might encounter this. So you have to move the project to a particular um, project inside your team. So let me say I'll move it to let's say tooth slide. I'll move it here. So after moving it, then you have this here. Then you can hit publish to publish this design system. So when you hit publish, you have to wait for it to finish publishing and you are good to go. So that's basically this for publishing your design system. I'll close this here and let's go back to um, our own design file where we want to design this dashboard. Now, before you start designing, you have to do the general setup that you need, right? So we have to bring in our Flowbite design system. So what we'll do is we'll click on this, go to assets, then you search for that design system here. So you can see I've added it already. So let me remove it and cancel this. Then I can come back here. Let's say I search for Flowbite design system. So you can see it, Flowbite design system, and you can add to file, right? So which means that all the components in this file can now be accessed from our tutorial design file. And that's interesting because I can double click here and let's say we want the alert component right now. I can just click this, click on this, then click and drag and drop it inside here. And you can see fully editable. You can update the properties, you can update the styles in general, so you are good to go. So I think this is interesting, and this is what we'll be using to create or to recreate this dashboard. Now, that's basically, so whatever components you need, you can create it or you can just pick it from here. If you want the card component, you can see these are card components here, and you can switch between different types of card components that they've created for you. So if you want the one with badge, sometimes it takes a minute to um, update, but just give it time. It's going to update. So you can see the one with badge. You want the one with logo, so you can see. So basically, they have like pre-made structure, pre-made components for you that you can quickly use and update. So let's delete this. Now we've done that. I'll be needing icons. So what I also love to do is to add my own icon pack. That's the huge icon. So you can also get this from the community. Search for huge icon pack. You sit there. You go to community here. You can search for huge icon. So huge icon. So you can see, I think it's this first one, huge icon library. So click on it, publish it, so you have access to it. So that's for that. So I've added this already to my own design file. Now, in order to recreate this, the first thing we need to do is to crop so that we have an exact screen size that we are designing for. That's exact device size that we are designing for. So the screen size for this right now is a desktop screen size. So I'll hit F on my keyboard to bring in my desktop screen size, which is this 1440 by 1024. Then what I love to do whenever I get any UI that is a desktop view, in case the UI has this space, right, that's the white space around, I would always crop this. So to crop this, I hold Control and Alternate on my keyboard. If you want to see the shortcuts that I'm using, look at the bottom right section here. You'll see that you can see the shortcut keys here. So in case I don't mention the shortcut that I'm using, you can quickly just see it here. So I'll select this, hold Control Alternate so that I can crop it both on the top and bottom. So I'll crop it this way. You can zoom in to get the last pixel if you want to. Yeah. So I'm good to go. This is basically carefully centered. So we are good to go here. I can also group this. That's crop this, right? So crop this a little bit. Let me zoom in to get the last pixel. And do this way. So you can see it's 1440. Sometimes you crop and it might not be 1440. What to do is, let's say this is, let me reduce it a little bit. So the value here is not 1440. Make sure this is locked, right? You lock the aspect ratio, then you type 1440 here. You don't care about the height. What we are more interested in is the width, right? So you update that. So we have this, and this is what we want to be recreating. I'm going to lock this so that it doesn't move around. Control Shift L to lock, or you can right click and basically lock and unlock. You can see the shortcut key there. All right, then. So now, after doing this, what we need to do here is we want to analyze our design. What do we need to recreate this dashboard? What do we need to what to recreate this dashboard? So some of the things that we need is we need a sidebar, right? We need a nav bar at the top. Then we need the main area. You can see we need cards. We need this list items. We need a button. Then we need text. We also need the avatar components. You can see we also need the avatar components here. That's the avatar group. Then we need the nav links and so on and so forth. So let's basically dive into design. Now, first things first, I'll select this and rename it as redesign. So that's course dash Flowbite redesign, and press enter on my keyboard. Okay, we're good. Then next is I'll hit Shift I so that I can access what the components that I have access to. Then I can search for sidebar here. So I'm going to search for sidebar here. Okay, good. And see if I have a sidebar component. So you can see we have a sidebar component here. So I can click and drop this here. So these are our own sidebar components. I'll hit alternate A to align to the left and alternate W to align to the top. So it's aligned here, right? Now, what I love to do, because I want to recreate this exactly, what I'm going to do is I'll hit R on my keyboard and try to get the size of this sidebar, right? So you can see that is 230 pixels. I'll delete it and I'm going to use a value from what? From my tokens. So for my number tokens, I'll select this here. Then I'll go to width. So you can see here. Now you can see this is a token was already attached here. And that's why I can quickly get access to this. But the value I'm going to be using right now is, let me scroll to the top, I think to the bottom. Yeah, you can see max width, max height. You need something like around 2. So 60, this 240. I'll use 224 because I measured 230. So 224 is good. I'll select 224. That's the width that I want to use. And what I will do, because now this component and this right now are different. So I can't use this sidebar for this. What I can do is that's giving me a structure of what the sidebar looks like. Then I can detach this component and update it later, right? So this is what I'm going to do. I'll select this and detach this component here. I can detach it or hit Control and hit B to detach. Then I can now go inside here and try to update it to fit this, right? So first we need a logo. We have the Flowbite logo there, right? What else do we need? We need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We need 5 tabs. That's nav tabs. So check what type of nav tab do we want. Okay, we want the one that has an icon only and a text, right? Icon on the left and a text. So we need 1, 2. We don't need this, so I'll delete this. This is one that has a drop down. So I only need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm good to go with this. What else do we need? The next section, we also need a text here as the title. So we'll be adding that ourselves and we'll make use of the typography tokens. Then what else again? We need an avatar component, avatar group. Then what you can do here is you can select this section here, select the navigation tab that is here, or the navigation list item. Then you can click on this button here to switch it. That's to update the component itself. So I can search for avatar and make sure your Flowbite design system is selected here. And you can see we have avatar group, we have avatar group with label. So I think this is the one we want. So I'll click on this and it updates. You can see this, right? Then you can also right click to what to reset instance, just to be sure that you're bringing it to default value. Then we need how many of this? That's three of those. So Control D, and select this, and delete this, right? Then do we need this? We don't need this, so I'll delete this. Let's check again. We don't need this guy, right? So I'll delete it, right? Then what else do we need? We also need this section. So I would duplicate this and take it to the bottom, and we are good to go. So this is like a long approach, but to do this quickly, what I would love to do in my own case is I would quickly um design this, because the structure of this right now looks similar to the structure of this, and looks similar to the structure of this. All of them have what? A title, and they also have what? The content. So I need to add my title. Now, if you don't know the size of this your title, what you will do is you can hit T, because the fonts here that is being used is Inter. So you can hit T on your keyboard and type that's, let me delete this, hit T, then type overview with caps lock. Then you can take it here and see, you can see this is 12 pixels already, so which means it is 12. If you don't know the size, maybe it wasn't the exact size that you got, you can hit K on your keyboard and try to either scale it up or scale it down to get the actual size. Like for this right now, I can type dashboard. That's when you're trying to recreate anything. That's like the approach. In case if you can't measure it using your own eye, you can type the value here, then hit K and try to extend it a little bit, right? So you can see this is like around 24, no, these are around like 17 pixels, 17.34. So what you do is you round it down or you round it up, right? So it's closer to 16, so it means that what? I'll use 16 pixels here. That's the value I'm going to use here. Or it's closer to 18, you can also use 18 if you want to. I think the value is 18 here, and you're good to go. But in most cases, when you are using a design system, most time they've thought of all these things. So which means that this size of the label for your navigation list here is mostly what? 18 or 16 pixels. There's the 16. So if you want to make it an exact replica, you have to update it to 18, and then good to go on your end. Okay. Um so that's that. So this is overview. So hit enter, type overview, cut it, Control X, and come here and paste it inside this section here. So this list section, I'll paste it here, Control V, and I'll take it to the top. So this is going to be, I'll apply variable here. So the typography sizes, that's the font size, right, has also been created from Flowbite. So I can select the size I want. So I want 12 pixels. Then the line height, I'm not really comfortable with their own line height settings here. So in most cases, I might not really use it. I'll just type in a percentage value. So I might use maybe 100% and press enter. Or I can use 1.6, that's 160% and press enter, right? So whatever value you want. I prefer using percentage values when I'm working with line height. It's easier to manage. All right. So we have this already. Then look at this structure. Remember your law of proximity, right? Elements that are close to each other are seen as a group. So the whole of this component right now are in one group. So I'll come here, select this, select this, select this, select this, select this. I'm holding shift to select all of them. Then I'll hit shift A to wrap it inside an auto layout container. Then Control R to rename, or you can click on the layer panel here. That's the name section. I can rename. So I'll type in list group, press enter. Then this is what our section or contents group. You can say contents group, or you can name it section, whatever naming convention they are using, right? So we have the title here, which is this, and we have this guys here. Now for this title, I'm going to use a different color. So I'll use a text color. I'll type text here, and I'll use text subtool because I need a subtool color here. You can see the subtool variant that is there. So that's what I need. and I think we are good to go. Then let's update others. Then we have dashboard, inbox, lesson, tags, and group. So I'll come here, update this text here. I can select all of them, holding shift. None of them have the right icon, so I can hide the right icon here. Then all of them are aligned to the left, so I can come back here. This is auto align. I'll change it to okay, auto space between, but in terms of the alignment right now, I can select this and hit X on my keyboard to switch between auto and a fixed value. You can also select this way, so it's 8 pixels, but I want it to be aligned to the left here, left center, so we are good to go. Then for this also, I can come here or update it. I want the normal one with icon, right? And I'll hide the icon. So we are good to go on that note. Okay, back to this. We have to do some updates here. We have to update the icons. So I'm going to be using the huge icons here. So we have dashboard, inbox, lesson, tags, and group. So we have dashboard, inbox, lessons, then tags, and we have group, right? So this is what we need. Then for the dashboard, I'll switch it to another library. So I can come here, I'll switch this right now to huge icons that I've added, and I can search for, I can now search for category icon or menu icon. Menu, so you can see it has different ones. So I'll use this menu square, so and it's update, right? And the best part when you are using huge icon is they have different variants. That's types of the style. They have the stroke and the field version or the field variant. So I'll select the solid variant here. So we have something like this. Now the color I'll be using here is the indigo. So I'll select this, scroll down, and selection colors. That the dark is for what, for my icon. So I'll select this dark, and I'm going to search for indigo. So I'm using, instead of using the Flowbite brand color, I'll be using indigo as my primary color here. So this is a monochromatic design, so I'll just use the indigo 500. Select this indigo 500. Then for the text should remain text heading. So that's that. Then for these two, you can basically update all of them. You can search for inbox, then switch to huge icon, then select whatever one that you want. For lessons too, you can look for the icon that suits or is similar to this. So I think we can get maybe a document icon or something. So we can search lessons. Let's see if there's a lessons icon. There's nothing like that. So I can use document. Let me switch this to this. So you can, I think, I'll just select anyone, but in the real sense, you look for the colors, right? So we're just basically exploring how to use those libraries to work. But for the tags, you can come here and type tags, switch to huge icon. So the advice is whenever you're working on a project, make sure you're using your icon pack is from one library, right? So it's from one icon pack. All the icons are from one icon. So look for a robust icon pack, or you make sure you're using similar look and feel or similar style for the icon. So that's on the side note. Now for the group, we can come here and search for user, then switch this to huge icon. So I want, let's say we can use this, or we can use the user group, which is this, and everything is updated. I'll select the core of this because when you update, sometimes the colors doesn't update together. So I'll select this and update the color to match this color. So text, body. So I'll select this. So all of this, we are good to go. So now we're done with this section. I can copy this section, Control C, then I can replace it with this section. So Control Shift R to paste and replace. So we have this here. Now for this section, we only need two, that's settings and logout. So I'll come here, update this to settings. Then we need logout. Then I will delete this one and this one and this. Excuse. Then the title is settings. So I'll come here and type in settings. Then I need to update the icons, right? So on the side panel, I'll update to settings. So this is settings. Then logout. Search for logout here. Then this is local, so you can use whichever one that you want. I think I prefer this guy here. Then check for their colors also. I can select this and update to text body, and we are good to go. So what else is remaining? So I think we need to also update this too. So what I'll do here is I can duplicate this, then I'll copy this components here, Ctrl C, and paste it inside this group here, Ctrl V. Then delete this too, so that I don't really need to recreate it again. That's like the smart way of working. Then I can delete this, right? I think we are done with this section here. Yeah, we are done with this section here. What's the category title? That's friends. So I'll come here and type in friends. Okay, good. Now, looking at this right now, in terms of the alignment, right, everything here is aligned to the left here. So which means they all have what the same padding, right? So what you have to do is you go to your nav list item, then you can update the padding here. You can see this is 8 pixels and 6 pixels. So I'll select this here, or I can just add it here if I want to, but I want this to also be clickable so that it has enough click zone. So I'll select this, and select this, set it to fill container. Then I'm going to set the padding here. This is 0, so I'll set it to 8 on the left and right. So 8 is 2 times 4, so I'll use 2. Then for 6 is 1.5 times 4, so I'll select 1.5 here, and we're good to go. So you can see everything is looking well aligned. It's also same for what, for the title here, so which means that we can either wrap the title to around a container. So Shift A, name this title, then make it shift to fill container, then set this to 8 and make sure it's aligned to the left, right? So I'll copy this and hit Shift A. Then I'll come back here and copy the properties here. That's what I want to do. I think I added 8 here and 0, right? Okay, good. So this is 0, this is 8, good. So I'll copy the properties here, Control and hit C to do that. Or you can write, you can copy properties here. So copy, then you copy properties. Then you come here. So I've added auto layouts to this. You can see frame 1. I'll rename it to heading or title. I like my naming conventions to be consistent. So this is title, yeah, this is title also. Then I'll hit Control and hit V to paste that properties that I copied. Then make sure this is fill container. I'll select this also. Make sure it is filling that container, right? What else again? Then we'll do the same thing for this too. So this is Shift A, rename to title, then set this to 8, that's on the left and right. Then make sure this is fill container, make sure it is aligned to the left, then select this and basically fill content, and we're good to go. Okay, I think we are getting there and it's looking like something right now. So now let's quickly round up the sidebar. Now to round this up right now, what I love to do is to get my sidebar looking exactly like this. At the top section here, I need to add a padding here, right? So you can see here the value is around 34 pixels, which means it's closer to 36, and 36 is divisible by 4. So I'm using a 4-point grid system, remember. Then here also, to get the value here, this is 30, that's like close to 32, right? So I'll come back here, and I think it's 36 also for the bottom here. Yeah, it's 34, so it's 36 because remember we have a padding around this guy, so it's 36 both at the top and bottom. So I'll select this take this to the top here. I'll resize it so it basically matches my own UI. Then what next do I need to do? Then I'm going to set the padding here to at the top. I want this to be 36, so that's 7 times what 4. Okay, no, that's 9 times 4. That's 36, top and bottom. Then left and right. Now for the left and right, I'm going to detach this first because I don't think it's 20 pixels that is here, because you don't want to move 20 pixels to select this guy. Whenever a user moves close to this a little bit, they are able to select this guy. That's to select the tab here. So I think I'll just use maybe 8 or 12 pixels on the right hand side here. So I'll come here and use 20 comma, or that's 32 comma 8 pixels, and press enter so that we are good to go. Here is 32 and this is 8 pixels. Then if you want to still attach or apply variables, you can go back to this and assign those variables here if you want to do that. So that's 4 times 8, 32. Okay, no, I used 4 instead of 8. 8, right? Then for 8, that would be 2. So 2 times 4, that's 8. So that's basically it. So I think we are getting there. Now, what next? We need to now work on the space between each section. So this is how I think of my overall UI. I believe that this is one section. That's my logo, right? It's on the same line with the nav bar. So I try to like get the actual size. So you can see this is like around 50 pixels. So I'll use 52 pixels here for my logo. Then this is my logo. I can update this later, right, to whatever logo that I want. Okay, I can set this to 0. That's the space top and bottom. Then I'll hit K on my keyboard, or I'll go into this logo here. That's sidebar header, right? I have to detach this because I don't want this component. Control Alt and B to detach that. Then I can select this logo here and hit K and set it to 52. Or if 52 is too much, I think I'll leave it. Let's leave it at that. Then what we'll do is this container itself is what we'll set to 52 pixels. So I can come here under height, make it to be a fixed height, and come here, apply variables. Then the height is going to be 52. Okay, I only have 46 and there's no 13. So you can go back and update if you want to, but let's use 48. I think this is good. Yeah, 48 is good. Then we now need the space between this. So the space between this section here is around 48 too. So what I'll do is I'll select this. So the space between the whole container right now, that's the space between this and all the sections. I'll set it to apply this, and I'll set it to 48 too. 48, then we are good to go. So I think we don't need the stroke here, so I'll remove the stroke, and I think we are good to go here. Then we have this section. Now to quickly fix this section, we want to make sure it looks like this. So you can see these two sections belong to a group, and the section doesn't belong to their own group, but they belong to what a parent container, that's a parents group. So we'll do that. So we have the parent container, so I'll select these two, this and this, and hit Shift A. I rename it as what, section group, and press enter. Then I want this container to fill the overall space, so to fill all the whole space on the vertical axis. So I'll go to height and set it to fill container, right? Then make it to be at the top. Then I want the space between, because I don't really need to measure this space here. What I'm going to do is I will use auto space. So basically just take up the available space and place that space in between this section here and this section. So I'll set this, come here and set it to auto. Or a faster way to do this using shortcut is you can select this section and hit X, or you hit X again, right, to update. So you can see we're good to go there. Now, what else do we need to do? We need to also get the space between each of this guy here. So remember we have like a padding around the main container of that nav link. So we just adjust, I think this 14, so we can use um, 16 or 12 pixels for the space between each of these. So you can use shift and enter to select the parent container. Then I'll set this to apply variables. I'll set this to either 16 or 12. So let's say 12. Yeah, I'll use 16 instead. So 16. Then this is also 16 here, right? And this is also 16. So I can just copy this. Control Alternate C to copy the properties. The property I'm copying is basically the space between. Then I'll select this, and I can also select this too, and hit Control Alternate V. So I'm pasting it on each of those containers, and we're good to go. So you can see with few clicks, we've quickly created our own um, sidebar here. Now, what's left? We need to also update this. This is friend, old friend, and whatever that it's there. So you can come here, you can update the text if you want to. Select this, select this, select this. You can press enter to update all of them together. So maybe friends. So select this only. Let's type old friend, and I think we are good here. Then you can also update the avatar here, so you can switch between different avatar that has been provided for you by Flowbite. You can see from the property panel there, you can switch to different um, avatar here. Let me use Nelson. Then you can also update their name if you want to. Now, for those that are using the professional plan, you can do all this. This is going to be like the first module for this. So we've successfully created what our side bar. What I'm going to do lastly is to also add what a background to our main container. So I'll select this and add what a background to this. So I'll use BG sub 2 or BG secondary. Scroll down. Primary strong. I use BG secondary. Okay, let me use tertiary instead. I think I prefer the tertiary. Yeah, I'll use this. So I won't use their own lights kind of shade. If you wanted to do that, you have to go and update your background uh, from the Flowbite Design System. Probably you use like the indigo, or you can select this and just use the indigo light shade. So you can search indigo and use like this shade, right? But I don't want to do that. I want to basically use all their own tokens. All right, see you in the next module and keep doing more for yourself.